In 2020, due to certain world events, I had the time to mess around and do more personal art. One of those pieces was this painting of Princess Serenity from Sailor Moon. I remember I put so much time, effort, and love into this piece, and what came out was not actually that good, looking back on it at least. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not absolutely horrible, it's okay, it's decent, but even the me of the time was not that satisfied with what I came up with. Now, 2 years later, with a bit more experience in digital painting, I wonder, can I make something better? I guess we'll see. Yeah, so in the beginning, I did some preliminary sketches to figure out how the finished piece would look like. I didn't like how I did the composition in the original one. The moon and the flower petals flowing off of her were kind of last minute changes that I added because I needed something there. I just did Serenity without anything else. And so I wanted to integrate the moon and the petals better into the final piece to make it look like it actually belongs there. But this sketch that I'm doing right now, you see it got changed midway. I decided to make it look more mysterious and I wanted like a more peaceful look. I wanted her to look ethereal and all that. I did a couple of layers of sketches, the initial sketch and a finer sketch, and then this would be the final sketch. After this, I am not gonna line it, I just painted right over it. Yeah, did a bit more detailed stuff. The anatomy is a bit off, but actually believe me right now, this is the best the anatomy is. Later on, that arm is going to mess me over. The back anatomy, I'll fix that later. And her neck, yeah, no, I'll never fix that. Let's just call it artistic license. Now here, what I'm doing, I'm blocking in the shapes via grayscale. This helps me visualize where the light is coming from and where the light is hitting on the body of Serenity. Yeah, that right there, those are meant to be the flower petals. And here I used gradient maps, amen, they're amazing for coloring and overlaying sort of like what Serenity's local colors would have been like. Honestly, I've never used this method before, I just use this now because I think it would be fun. And then I do something really dumb here, which I shouldn't have done. Later on, I will flatten everything into one layer. I should not have done that, I should have kept everything separate layers, it would have made my life easier, but I did that. And now I put a sort of dark layer over it because, yeah, this goes by super fast. I sped up this part of the video because it's just a bunch of boring rendering and painting and it'll be so long. Without this extra speed up, this video would have been like 15 minutes long, just the speed paint. I put a black filter over it because, yeah, it looks silly, it just keeps flipping back and forth, and eye strain. Yeah, it goes from white to the dark colors, and I hope the thing would have helped a bit. Now here, I'm doing some finagling on the arm. I hate that arm. That arm looks like a limp noodle. It looks like fried dough. I hate it. Now back to rendering. Honestly, in rendering, I had a bit of a hard time because I flattened everything into one layer. I should not have done that. I should have kept everything separate layers. I would have been able to easily paint the body parts. Those roses, I did not manage to render them like I wanted. Again, I flattened it onto one layer and at the end I was so tired to do anything else. Okay, so you see there, sometimes you saw like flashes of, black and white you saw there. Those flashes of black and white, those were me checking the values of the piece. Now, why would I do that? Checking the values of the piece is usually me making sure that the piece makes sense. Like, for example, if I'm stuck in an area and it doesn't look right to me, I check the values, because usually if the values are just right, then whatever colors you add on top of those values, it will make sense. If your values make sense, your piece will make sense. Okay, yeah, see here, I'm back again with that arm. I hate that arm, that limp noodle arm. That arm. Yeah, a lot of my time spent on this painting was just me doing and redoing that arm. I hate that arm. Okay, here, yeah, you see, I even use a CSP 3D model feature to try to remake that arm, and I ended up with this. Don't worry, I also mess it up again, and I try to quote-unquote fix it again. After several millennia, I finally got to the hair, yay, and I'm not the best at rendering anime-esque hair. I'm not the best at rendering hair in general. And so I use the marker tool for that. Oh, here. I think at this point I just gave up on trying to fully render the petals and went into trying to figure out the lighting because I wasn't quite satisfied. See here, I'm trying to mess around with the effects a lot. Please bear in mind, the warning. Sorry for the flashing lights. Here it is so far. That's how it looks without all the fancy lighting. I don't know what I was doing here, but apparently I took a long break. This where I try to render all of the petals on the same layer. It does not work. I just leave it be and I focus on the lighting of the piece instead. I wanted her to look ethereal and it was just not giving that to me right now. I wanted to fix the lighting, give it like, value work. If I turn it black and white, I get to see how it looks. Yeah, see, I'm just fine detailing at that point, adding lighting to where I want the light to be. Yeah, some finishing touches, and done! It's time for the final piece. Ta-ta-ta-ta! Here it is! As I said before, I did some more effects that I didn't film. I know, but I really do think it helped enhance the piece. There are some things that I do regret. Again, that arm. I hate that arm. The anatomy itself is also kind of wonky if I'm being honest. That's ignoring the owl-like neck, by the way. Now, the big question. Did I improve? Kinda. I think I improved with the lighting, the composition, and the coloring, and I think my painting skills have improved as well. I learned to go from big to small, as well as how to use the grayscale method to my advantage. The way I used it before was not the most comfortable method, at least I didn't find it the most comfortable method. As for anatomy, I do think I've improved a tiny bit, but it's still not perfect. I have not studied it nearly, as much as I should be. I think the anatomy was actually better in the initial sketch, but through the telephone game of time and fatigue, they ended up not as good as they could have been. I have more nitpicks, but I think it may be a bit too much. What do you think? Feel free to tell me if you wanna. Now I gotta say, thank you for watching this video, and goodbye!